1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Y'all need that information on who they are.
That went out, didn't it?
Huh?
It went out.
That went out already.
Right, but
Yeah, keep it all together in one.
those of you that are here tonight are giving me special assignments, I think. So you need the vendor list, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
And give
All
them the
together.
pricing
All
structure.
together.
and pricing.
So
Nation Builder, one of them?
it is, but I'll remind y'all where it is.
No.
I contacted everyone on that list, by the way, and someone got back to me and said they were not a contractor on that list. So
Okay.
you might wanna-
All right, so then maybe you and I will be working on this together. Huh? So here's the...
And which ones do they do? I mean, maybe if you have a list of 10 people, does number 1 do 4 of these? Does
Who's-
number 2?
Jim?
I don't know.
Aaron?
So you can, I know, but I'm not saying that.
All right,
I'm saying so you can look at their
Are you
work.
happy with it?
Chairman, Mayor, and Councilman.
He's not on the list anymore.
so I would just... This is coming from Stephen Box.
Consultant only.
We weren't thrilled with it,
Where is it?
no. How about you?
We're happy with it. I'm gonna use them just as a consultant. because we do
This
most
is coming from Stephen Box, and so this is just my humble opinion, humble as it may be. So I suggest that you take the mechanics perspective, which is, I have a 1988 Subaru.
Sell it.
I don't want to, they're beautiful. I don't want to rebuild the engine, and I don't want to trade it in on a new one. I want you to tune it up, and I want you to drive me to work every day. Like, tell them what you want. So, you see, if you try to read what they offer, right? Oh, I built spaceships. Really? I want to know if it's got enough oil. That's all. Does it need air in the tires? So do you want them, so take a, in your case, let's use Mission Hills if you don't mind. So we're moving from one server, or one hosting to another. We'd like you to facilitate that process, and you know it's 8 to 16 hours, because I'm offering it to you for 8 to 16 hours. So your new webmaster, you'd like them to facilitate the movement, right, the transfer. You'd like them to, well, I mean, you're already up, okay? Now do you want them to maintain it, and what does that mean? For you, I'd like you to post the agendas, the minutes. I'd like you to post 5 or 7 timely blog articles, cut and paste. You don't have to write them. Pull them right from the department's newsletter. Find something in the community. We'll submit them. Hold our hands while we post it ourselves. Okay? But just be specific. We'd like 1 newsletter to go out per month. What else? Oh, we'd like you to run our social media campaign.
What about email blasts regarding the upcoming?
Newsletter, yeah, the newsletter, email blasts.
Okay.
So we'd like you to facilitate our constant contact, or nation builder, or vertical horizons, vertical, what's it called, or MailChimp, like whatever your email blast platform is, we'd like you to send out 1 a month, or 2 a month, or 1 per week. Okay? But if you told me that and I were somewhat proficient at my craft, I could say it's going to be 2 emails per agenda, right? 1 to receive it, 1 to confirm, 1 to screw it up. You know what I mean? I can do the math on how many hours it's going to take me, and I can then bid on it. And whether or not there's a policy, get 3 bids. So go to your community. I'm coming, Mr. Goodman.
No problem.
Whether or not you, so you need to have your communications team now would be a good time for you to decide how much Elliot's going to do, right? Because it depends on Elliot's mood, you know. What are you going to do, yell at him? Or how much you're going to say to somebody, seriously, let's make a deal. This is what we expect. We expect agendas, minutes, 5 to 7 blog posts, right?
And committee members to be able to post their...
Yeah, I want you to maintain our email accounts. And when we get new members, you give them an email account. We want you to send out 2 email blasts. We'll create the content. A note from the president and a couple from the committees. Like, you'll make that list. And then send it to 3 and say, this is what we would like. And really, I don't care what they drove to work. What I want them to know is, we have a WordPress website. We're happy with the look, we're happy with the customization. We'd like you to spend 2 hours a month kind of spunking it up and trying something new. We want you to maintain the calendar. I mean, think of all the things we just thought of now. Yes, Mr. Kuzman?
Two of the concerns that I have are asking the webmaster, who is not a neighborhood council board member, to be responsible for posting agendas.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else doesn't really matter, but those agendas are critical.
Yeah.
And what if he's on vacation?
Yeah.
And you've got an emergency or special meeting that has to occur in 24 hours. I don't think that any board should rely solely on their webmaster for posting agendas. Because if the Brown Act is violated, they'll say, well, it's his fault. He didn't get to it. Well,
No, there's no excuse. You should know.
You know,
Yeah.
the point is, you know, if a complaint's filed, he's not included in the complaint.
Yeah.
So I really, you know, there's this hole here
Yes.
that
Well,
needs to be addressed probably on a policy level,
That's a policy.
of course.
That's policy.
But just as my
Yeah. That's a good
observation,
point.
I have complained about agendas not being posted and being told that the webmaster didn't get our email or he didn't get
So
to
just
it.
for the record, it's a black and white world when it comes to posting. So I'm sorry the dog ate. It's not an excuse. The webmaster was mad at me. There was a clog in the inner tubes and it didn't get through. Those aren't excuses. And so here's the deal. If it doesn't get posted, you don't have a meeting. It's that simple. And to your point, perhaps one of the things you'd ask your webmaster for is, I'd like you to hold our hands 2 hours a month to get us all up to speed so we post our own agendas. Okay? So Woodland Hills Warner Center, are they here tonight? Let's pick on them. I posted their agendas. You just need the password. Someone emails it to you, you download it, you name the file. And by the way, name the file as if you weren't the only one looking at it. My resume. When that hits someone's, when you email my resume to somebody and it gets dropped into that hard drive, how's that person going to find you? Oh, it's under mine. Well, so if you put agenda, just for the record, the people at Empower LA that are loading agendas are totally guaranteed. You know that's going to get lost in the haystack. So put your name first and foremost. Whatever your naming protocol is, let's make it good. And let's set a policy for how we name stuff. How many people took biology? You know there's a rule for naming stuff, right? So is it West Hills Neighborhood Council, Outreach Committee, date? Like what's your hierarchy?
We have, we post our own agendas, minutes, and committee agendas and committee meetings.
No one to blame, except you.
That's right.
Right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have a policy for how to name them.
No.
What do you name them?
Well, actually, they're named after each, like, general board meeting, minutes to the general board meeting.
Yeah.
Committee names,
Yeah.
committee minutes.
Great. And if someone had a bunch of them, then we can sort them. You right? By date or by
Well,
name or.
we also keep them on a hard drive,
Great.
so we always have a backup.
So err in favor of redundancy. In this particular case, good point, err in favor of redundancy, but here's the deal. Figure out who has access and figure out who's going to do what.
We have a backup when you call and say, what happened to that?
I never call and say what
Well,
happened.
somebody calls for it.
I'm not the guy.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, right.
I'm going to keep up the good work ethic. So who posts? And for that matter, maybe you don't want them doing blog posts. Maybe you just want them to set it up so that 3 people can post blogs on a regular basis. And by the way, just because you do all your work, Elliot, on Thursday night.
I do all my work all the time.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's
He's
doing
7
it
days a
now.
week.
He's doing
He's
it
on
now.
call. But some people have a little bit of time they set aside. You don't want all the blog posts to hit at that same time, and you don't want all your tweets to come at that same time, and all your Facebooks, because we know you drank too much coffee. Right? You want to say that? But you can time things so that every day at 3 times a day, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, a tweet comes out. Right? So, for example, when you post the agenda, that could be an automatic tweet. Hey, look, we're having another meeting. Okay, so maybe that wouldn't get a whole lot of followers. But, but the point is that you want folks to see a continual amount of activity, not just on your website, but in your social media, Twitter, Facebook, etc.
Right.
And a lot of this can be automatic, so it's linked. Yes, sir.
On your social media, how would you be able to quantify how much time he's going to spend on social media?
Well, because we do know what it takes. For example, you go to Hootsuite. We just know, right? They know, you know. So you need to decide how busy you want this person to be. In other words, have this meeting and say, I'm thinking, let's set up 2 hours a month for this, 2 hours a month for this, 2 hours, 10 hours. So we're figuring about 10 hours worth of work. You want to have a reasonable and intelligent conversation. You don't want to look at their resume. I mean, really? I don't know where this guy studied to be a mechanic. I don't care. I want to know, how long before we get this car back on the road? Are we plugging the tire, replacing the tire, getting 4 new? Am I going to get aligned? Like, there's a price for all of this stuff. $150 an hour. No one ever paid the guy $150 an hour, right? Yeah. Because we know that the labor comes with the alignment. We know that someone's going to put the tire. Have you ever carried the tires home and put them on yourself? You know what I mean? We know that this is the bid. So go to Pep Boys. Get 3 Pep. Goes Manny, Mo, and Jack. Okay? Here's what we want. We want the full wazoo. Okay? We want everything. We want to raise our clout score to be 60. So we want 10 hours a week of social media. Be bold. But you know there's a price for it. Let him bid for it. And here's the deal. This guy's a specialist in Drupal. Okay, so I saw that. My little boy does that. Right? So when I said Drupal, what were you thinking?
Drupal?
Drupal, WordPress.
I know.
It's just another platform.
Okay.
But he didn't know when he bid on this contract. He's trying to impress people. Right? So he's talking about solenoids? What are those?
The thing that you used to start the starter on your car, right? The
You already lost
solenoid?
me. You already lost me. Is my car gonna run? You know what I
That's all you wanted to
mean?
know.
So he's talking, he's under the hood, and I'm like, do you have it in blue? Okay? I'm kicking tires. So these people would love to be able to have a good conversation. There's 10 people that took enough time to bid on a contract, to ask all these questions, they filled out all these forms. Tell them what you want, have all 3 of them come and meet you at a meeting on the same evening, ask them to throw a bid, okay? And if someone says, I'll do it for $350 a month, so let me get this straight. You'll do this, 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 and this for $350? Yeah. And this one says, I'll do it for $325. Okay, so there's a little bit of difference, but you might feel better about one or the other. Don't care, it's your vote, right? Maybe you think this one's abrasive, maybe you think this one's rigid, maybe you think this one is, I would love for this person to teach us how to do it. I mean, because they're going to be working with you. And I'd suggest 3 bids. How many? 3 is the perfect number, you know that, right? Yes, sir.
All right, this is a protocol thing. Most of the people deciding which web process to use is the outreach committees right now. Problem is the outreach committee spends all the time, vets all the contract, takes it to the board, and the board says, oh no, well, what's the difference between this and that and this and that? And all of a sudden you're rehearing everything all over again. So my question is, how much freedom does the outreach committee have under the citywide plan for neighborhood councils to choose on their own the webmaster that they're going to use?
Not that I know of. They don't. The board will make a decision.
Okay.
So, and some neighborhood councils have a pretty firm standard.
We don't take anything to the board.
You don't take anything to the board?
My committee doesn't take anything to the board because we don't have any votes.
This is
Yeah. But
this is interesting.
Yeah, I know, but for tonight's purposes, we're not doing policy or administration of neighborhood
No,
councils.
I mean,
But I think it's all related, though.
What's that?
I think it's an important thing
No,
to
I
know
agree with
and
you 100%.
understand.
And I'm not the person to have that conversation, and this isn't the topic.
Venue.
Because we're doing, yeah.
Again, I was just trying to see if you had any knowledge of
But
how
if
much
I- even if I-
who
Yeah.
controls
Yeah,
this
so
really.
we're gonna put that one in the parking
All right.
lot, we can take it
Yeah.
offline. And you said you guys don't vote on anything, and that's
Well,
cool.
okay, no, we do vote on things,
Yeah.
but like, things like the budget and the logo, and then we just institute it.
Fine.
Because
But-
if nobody objects,
Yeah, I'm not getting into how you run your board tonight. And there's 96 neighborhood councils, and some have the talking stick, others have the podium, and others are really formal and look like.
you gotta stick up there.
So we're not gonna, and some are very informal, so we're not gonna go there. Really quickly though, on the contracts, I'll send you the list. So if you're here tonight, I think there's a sign-in sheet. And I think that this is where you need to decide what you want first. Anyone that walks into a car lot that doesn't know what they're there for is gonna end up paying too much for too long for something they don't want. Okay? I mean, have you ever been on a car lot? Yeah, it's like, why? Why would you ever do that again? It's so bad.
It's fun.
So, decide what you want,
You can tell that, right?
and whatever your process is, and then put it out there and get 3 bids to come in. Whatever your process is, whatever the process is. So if they come to the outreach committee and get recommendations, if they go to the full board and get asked again, that's however it happens. And we'll find out about the domain names. Does that help you with the contract or the complexity of the contract? So let's start with Mission Hill, so I know that you're in the middle of doing this. So you know what you need to have ready, right? And you should have that meeting to decide what your policy is and what you want, because you can't have the contract conversation until you know what you're looking for. Okay, so you decide on the Subaru 4-wheel drive station wagon, very nice. And now you're going to go shop for it. Online, at a car dealership, you know, and in the newspaper, right? So you want 3 different sources to give you some idea of what that would cost. And when I said Drupal, you frowned. And so that would be a platform. And if you have one, you'll know that. And if you don't, it doesn't matter. So if he says I'm a Drupal expert, really, don't care. Here's what we got. I got a Subaru, and I want you to polish it. Okay? Yes, sir.
There's I forgot you might know it, there's a location on the net where you can find out what your current website is made of, what the platform is.
Oh, I don't know.
Because we weren't sure whether we were WordPress or not,
Yeah.
and we went to it. It made it easier to talk to the
Yeah, you're right. I'll find out for you.
Okay.
Mr. Guzman, then Mission Hills.
I heard some rumblings that there's some discussion at Dunn and at the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners about creating a certain minimum standard of buttons.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay, I'm jumping
That's
ahead.
number 3
Sorry.
on here.
Okay.
So, and we know 3 buttons is the minimum for everything, right?
Okay.
No, it's about 10 things, but I'm gonna. So Mission
We're not
Hills
there yet.
list
Gotcha.
of elements, right? Domain names. How long can you buy them for 10 years? A list of website elements that you should have, bare minimum. It's easy to forget. I'm like, oh, I forgot the board.
Now,
Oh, I forgot that guy.
when
on
you
the board.
say well, what Mr. Guzman's talking about, is that going to be a requirement,
Oh, I
or
don't
is
know.
that going to be
I don't know. Don't know.
okay?
But for our purposes, I'll tell you the common elements. If it ever goes to the commission and becomes a policy, that's between them and you. But I'll tell you 10 good things that, just so we're all thinking of them, you might think of a better one and share it with me. And then I'll check on data on websites so that you can just go ahead and pull up some stats. The other stat that's going to be kind of interesting would be some Google Analytics. And so when you ask this person, do you want them to put some sophisticated Google Analytics? And what that means is, do you want to know how many men, women, older, younger, residents, how long, where they went, what they were looking for, or do you just want clicks?
You want the good stuff. Bad
Yeah.
stuff.
I would want to know. I would want to know where they come from.
But mainly why?
Huh?
Why do you want that information?
Because,
No, I'm saying, you
Yeah.
be clear, Keith.
yeah,
What is it we're actually, because what are you gonna do with it? Like, you know, you can get the information sliced and diced in
Yeah.
different ways. What will it do for you?
so I'm on a diet. I know that you all noticed that, right? Or not? But they say that step number one for going on a diet is like this, you need to know where you are. Every day you need to check, right? And so on that note, with the Google Analytics, even if you don't understand, you should know if it's getting bigger or smaller, right? And then you can start to dial in, where are they coming from, what are they looking for, what do they land on, and how long do they stay there? Are they clicking the home page, making one click, and immediately dropping out? Are they coming for one thing? Get more of that. Do they like short videos or long videos? Are they looking for agendas or minutes? Are they reading the blog? Let's put up more blog. Are they not reading the blog? What things do they like on the blog? Is that what you're getting at?
Kind of.
Yeah? What are you getting at?
Yeah. Well, a lot of it is okay, you know, we're getting these clicks, and this seems to be going up, so we'll do more of that. And you can spend, you know, over the course of a year,
Yeah.
You can work all around trying to sort of track where your visitors are going. Where you can also, but you really, you want them to come in.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk. You want them to talk. You want when they come to meetings, you want them to be coming back to meetings and so on. And the question is, does the website help with that?
Good stuff. You might address that in your objectives, your outreach objectives. So this is beyond website or pre-website. Forget about websites for a moment. The city charter says neighborhood councils have two big reasons for living. What are they?
Outreach.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So, the other one is to monitor the delivery of city services, right? Where's our stuff? Are you guys with me? Are you guys with me? Where's our stuff?
I kind of like the other one, which is to bring the public closer to their government.
Yeah. Okay. Are you with me? Look.
Yeah.
Look, Mr. Kuzma. Look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These two. Okay. So, whatever your goals are for your neighborhood council, you should know where you are. So, how many people in your database? You mentioned database. So, let's say we got 500 people. We want 1,000. Right? Like, set some goals. And this is just in your database. But are they opening your newsletter? Okay? So, if you tell your webmaster that you want some analytics, that then requires a specific level of proficiency. They'll set it up. It's easy to read. But you want someone that can set it up. And you have to have a privacy statement, and the list goes on. These people get certified. So that's contract. Are we good with contract? Yeah?
So far.
What was your neighborhood council?
Granada Hills South.
South, okay. So, okay. So if you, where would you go now? Contracts, legacy book. There's two different kinds of legacy book. Yes, sir.
You touched on Hootsuite briefly and how to
Can we pull up
price.
Do you mind if we jump then? Do you mind if we jump? Okay. Okay. So we've got a website. There's two platforms that are free to you: Nation Builder and Nextdoor. And we're gonna jump over that page. You want to go Nation Builder real quick? Hey, take out your smartphones for a moment, if you wouldn't mind.
They're not that smart.
Just take out your smartphones.
Yeah, I haven't done.
I don't know if it's smart.
It looks smart to me. You gonna help her? Okay, can you turn around and all right, you grab her phone there. So you're gonna go to your texting area to where it says, on mine it says messages. And I'm gonna send a new message. The phone number is, what neighborhood council is this?
It's shared with Northridge East and North Hills West.
Okay.
No, it is Granada Hills City, but it's part of North Hills West Neighborhood Council.
Okay. Here's a phone number. And there's a word. So I want you to text this word to this phone number.
282-5528.
Okay, so Jose, when you're done,
Done.
Yeah.
You did it?
Yeah.
What happened?
I got a response. Thanks for joining us at Empower LA's hashtag TUX bootcamp.
So
Click.
this is Nation Builder. So, did you get it?
Yeah.
Was it when you're done? Can you go over there and do it on yours for the shrinks?
Yeah.
Right here? This is Nation Builder. And if we were using Nation Builder for our neighborhood council here, you could allow people to sign in when they get to the meeting using this. And you can have a different keyword for each meeting. Like it could be May board meeting, right? April board meeting. Something different. What you're going to get now, are you getting something? Did it give you something? Huh? Please reply with your name. Because I want to get to know you.
Oh, you want me to write my name now?
Yeah, so have a conversation with it.
Okay,
Okay?
I send it.
Yeah?
It's voluntary, so I'm choosing not to volunteer.
Yep. What did I do wrong?
So go ahead and help him here, Jose. Yeah, you got it. So Carol, go ahead and help him there. So Carol, this is a nice Samsung, has a nice big one. Did it work?
And this is Nation Builder.
This is
right?
Nation Builder.
Well, but I don't have that.
Answer the question.
Oh, you,
Okay.
they want
Yeah,
my
it's-
email right now?
Yeah, so say, give
Okay.
the email.
It's got
So
good stuff on it.
Carol had a quick little, she signed in with the
I like
keyword.
it because it has.
It didn't know who she was, so it asked her and she responded. And now she has 7 documents, which I could have printed. But you know how you print a bunch of stuff, you never have enough of the right ones, you have a bunch left over. The Amazon forest is crying because of your meetings. But here's the packet.
All right, it'll happen.
And some of the stuff we have, like the contract,
forever.
is huge. So if you go to if you do the same thing with the word online, it will give you the entire contract for online voting plus all the supporting documents. The point here is you create a folder for the meeting. You know, you printed the agenda. You have a few supporting documents. So you can print some, but you can also use this as an opportunity, because I don't want the paper. I really don't want the paper. I just use it in other meetings to take notes on the back, right? Because I couldn't find any paper. So oftentimes people only want the paper for a few minutes, and this isn't one of those moments. But here you have the entire digital record. And at every meeting, someone raises their hands and says, do you have this in a digital format? Yes, I'll go home and I'll email it to you, but I forgot to. So I just got a new phone. I get so many phones this way.
But you can email these things to the folks that don't have the smart email. The
Well,
smartphones,
but I can
right?
email it
I
to you.
don't think I get it.
But-
I don't understand what the
Okay, so this is good. This is Nation Builder. If you'd like a Nation Builder account, you'll tell Jose, I'd like a Nation Builder account. And who's Renee's Renee?
I am.
Hi Renee, how are you? So Renee RSVP'd for TUX Bootcamp.
Yep.
Thank you very much. So Renee sent a text message to Empower LA Bootcamp. Borzu?
Yeah.
Borzu? How you doing? Sent a text message less than a minute ago, right? And Rhonda sent a text message less than a minute ago. And Lucy sent a text message, okay?
That's still not.
Jose's gonna fix it for you.
I'm not the.
So Nation Builder is a way to manage your data. So we've got 18,000 supporters in here. You can assign some of these people to different meetings. Now, all of you signed in tonight, so I'll tag you all boot camp. 3 months from now, when we want to get all the people who went to boot camp, we just do a search and pull all the boot camp people and send you an email saying, thank you very much, we're going to start over again.
Because now we carry the name of bootcamp, what we're doing tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to tag you.
Yeah.
But next week, when I see you in Chatsworth, I would tag it Chatsworth.
You would,
And if I pulled Chatsworth, I'd get you and all the Chatsworth folks.
okay, it would be the same number, but it would be the
Same number. But I control, when we set up for the meeting, we pick a name, we create a folder, we put a bunch of stuff in it for the meeting tonight, and then you'll get that stuff, okay? So it's a way to manage stuff, right, documents, Like, you got 10, how many documents did you get, Carol?
Okay.
7, I think.
7 documents. One of which is the TUX guide to social media.
Now, if I want to reach you, whatever it is, if I do that number and I write Chatsworth, something can happen?
That's our phone number on Nation Builder.
Yeah, I know.
You can text it, you can do lots of things. I'll get all of that. And
If I write Chatsworth, what that will do to you?
only if I set up a meeting with a keyword
Okay.
Chatsworth. You can just text me and say, hey, it's Lucy, what's going on? And I'll get that text. You won't get a special treat like you will on this one. Did you get a special treat? Who did it? Did you?
No Easter eggs.
Wait, what?
Huh? When you text.
I already. Yeah.
Did you get the stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's oh, you click this link, and
Okay. Did you get it? Not yet.
it's now downloading a bunch of documents
Still downloading?
that are relevant
Yeah,
to tonight's meeting. Okay?
Really slow.
So, Nation Builder
Send it?
could be your website.
That's, okay.
Can we go to Legion Valley?
Bootcamp, right? Yeah, yeah.
This is a Nation Builder website. It could also be your. Do you all have constant contact? Vertical horizons, or what is it?
Eye contact.
What is it?
Eye contact.
High contact?
Eye.
Eye contact. They're email platforms.
Yeah.
So the typical neighborhood council has a website, an email platform. I think yours is Saul. Sometimes it's a guy with an email list. You know what I mean? Right, but you don't have access to that because it's on that person's hard drive or in their email account, and you can only send so many times before Google will shut you down. But typically people have a website, they have an email app. What's yours? Email application.
Eye contact.
What is it? Eye contact? Okay. An email application, and then a way of managing social media, like Hootsuite. Okay, so this is a Nation Builder website. It's a Legion Valley Riverside. Okay, so it's got stuff. How cool is that? In addition, let's go back to
You were talking about Hootsuite for a minute.
Hootsuite. Let's go to Hootsuite real quick. Hootsuite is one of many platforms for managing social media. So, do you have a Twitter account? Yeah? Yeah, okay. Do you have a Facebook account? Do you have an Instagram? Now, Instagram is a little different. You got to do that yourself from your cell phone. But you can manage accounts. So, in this particular case, let's go to Hootsuite. Okay. So you thought Elliot worked 7 days a week, 365 days a year. He doesn't. He schedules them. Yeah. So everyone thinks, my goodness, the guy gets up at 5 in the morning, he's already philosophizing. No, he took 17 really genius quotes and he just put them, I'm going to do that 6 o'clock in the morning. Every morning they're going to wake up, they're going to have something pithy. Okay? So what you do on Hootsuite, what happened to us? You can schedule things. Okay? You can also track things, because I want to know anyone talking about me anywhere, anytime. And if they say something nice, I'll call them a genius, right? So you'll want to track different topics. So you'd want to track Van Nuys Boulevard, public safety, civic engagement, Boy Scouts, like what's going on in the neighborhood, right? Who's got Hanson Dam? Anyone here? So if there were assets in your neighborhood, you'd want to see who's talking about it. Okay? So Balboa, you got the lake, right? You'd want to know about, you've got the Vision, right? You've got Northridge. You've got the school. You've got Seasun. So you'd pick phrases which are, or hashtags, and you track them. So here's anybody. Oh, these are all neighborhood councils? Yeah. Yeah. So here's all the neighborhood councils. So is there anyone here that's new to Twitter? Okay. Are you? All right.
I have an account, and that's it.
What's that?
I have an account, and
okay. Here's the secret of the universe. They say that if you want to get a job, don't ask the people you know, because they know the same stuff you know. Anything they know, you already know. You ask their friends. You want second tier. They know enough not to run away when you ask for stuff. Like you vaguely know that we're a friend of Bob's, and I was wondering if you know. So you want someone outside of your circle. With Twitter, if you're all my Twitter friends and I tweet, you're gonna like, we already know. Dude, we live on your street. I know, great, you took a picture of the sunset we're all looking at. So that's not that interesting. What you want is a group of people who have other friends who might think what you're saying is interesting, and they'll share it with their networks. Now you start to resonate. So now you're ripples in the pond when you drop the pebble, as opposed to just the pebble in sand.
But when you tweet, it doesn't just go who you are tweeting, your friend Twitter? Or,
well, if you tweet in a dark room and no one's there, believe me. So what you want is you want people to echo what you're saying. And this goes for anything. For example, if I tell you all something tonight and you don't tell anybody,
and there's no teams,
we know exactly what my impact was. But if you all repeated it to two people, who repeat it to two people, all of a sudden a lot of neighborhood councils and a lot of committees, and then it's starting to resonate. So in the world of social media, you want to look for ways to resonate. So if you say something interesting, you might repeat it. Now your network will repeat it and you'll pick it up. So my wife was born in Hungary. I was born in Australia. So when I tweet, 3 countries, because my wife spent a lot of time in Germany, half her family's in Germany. So when I tweet about the boys, do you see how it's resonating just because our family is in different countries? If you only tweet on one topic, right, it's going to stay in that little silo. If you have a few different topics, like sometimes you're going to be inspirational, sometimes you're going to tweet something that's of public interest that's happening in the world, sometimes you're going to tweet about what's specific to Chatsworth, and sometimes you're going to tweet about something that's specific to civic engagement. Now you're starting to hit different groups, okay? You should always be true, you should always be a consistent voice. So if you're speaking on behalf of the neighborhood council, don't be, oh look, it's funny guy. Oh look, it's depressing guy. You know what I mean? You can't have different people with different voices. You know, there's always the doom and gloom, and there's always the perpetually optimistic. Pick your voice so that your neighborhood council is consistent without any editorial. Because we don't take positions on a lot of things, because we're a neighborhood council, right? So, so here's the advice, new to Twitter. Just get this list of neighborhood councils from Jose. Did you introduce yourself here?
Come on, Jose.
So Galamus, Department of Legal Department, Media Strategist.
So are you over 30?
No.
Then you know what you're talking about. In this case, then you know what you're talking about.
So if you want Nation Builder, he'll set you up with a free account. If you want Nextdoor, he'll set it up so that you can, there's 74,000 people in the city of LA that have opted in to Nextdoor, which means they do want to know what you have to say. And so he can give you a Nextdoor account so that you can push your agendas and updates and hey, look at me to your region. That's Jose. The third thing Jose will help you with is the list of neighborhood councils. Yes, Mr. Kuzman?
Nextdoor.com.
I'm going to get to that.
We'll come back to it.
It's under the
Go
Nation
on.
Builder.
You started on it, so I was...
I'm just saying, this is Jose. These are, I'm this guy, and then he's going to help you with that. And then he'll give you a list of neighborhood councils. And here's my idea. So you're setting up a new Twitter account, right? So you immediately put your family. They're eating the same dinner as you, right? And the people you know, yeah, they're eating the same lunch at work with you. Like so just take the 96 neighborhood councils and load them. Because if your neighborhood council does something and tweets something, I guarantee you there's 95 other neighborhood councils that will think it's interesting. Why? Because I tell them to. Like, echo each other's stuff, and you start to create this citywide, look what neighborhood councils are doing, okay? And before we come back to you, sir, real quick, the 80-20 rule is 80% of what you should talk about should be about anybody but you. Then you become a trusted source. and 20% is, hey, look at me. But if it's all about you, it's like, oh my God, another meeting, another cleanup, another blog post, right? But if 80% of it is the council member just did something, I mean, seriously, thank them every time they do something. They'll keep doing stuff, right? What's going on? Is it interesting? Do things that are motivational. I mean, everybody loves a little cheer me up, right? Did something good happen? The sun came up this morning. I mean, be positive, be interesting, be inspirational, be many things, and then keep in mind, now you've developed a relationship. And if there were a crisis, who will they trust? Those they recognize. And I've been following you all this time. I get your tweets. I follow you on Facebook. I think you're interesting. You keep me posted. I go to the website for updates. If there were something happened, they're going to turn to you. I mean, this is the test of a relationship, right? So, yes, sir.
On Twitter, don't you have to follow somebody to get their tweets, or they can just add you to their list?
So on that note, yes, you have to follow people, or else you're just really noisy in an empty room, and there's no one there, and you're not going to hear anything. The other thing is, I follow a lot of people, but I don't let them go to my phones, because it would be constantly, but I do look on here. And I don't do it all at once, but I do track topics, and I do look periodically when I spend some time. So for example, I think you were asking about how long does it take to run a social media campaign. Let's say, for example, we use Hootsuite. We set aside about 4 hours a week in the department. Okay? We tweet anything we post online. We tweet anything we do, for that matter. So we tweet we tweet meetings, agendas, and Facebook them. We Instagram and we YouTube, right? So if we make a YouTube video, we tweet it. Hey, look at our fascinating funding video. You know the whole world's watching that. But it's interesting, we do get followers from around the world. I mean, people follow civic engagement. And the trick here is we make sure that we hashtag stuff. Let's go to, let's click this one. So, okay, so here we've tagged it with some phrases that we've agreed on, but civic engagement, Empower LA, Pat Brown Institute, LA Mayor, Civic U. So that anyone, anywhere tracking topics will find us. So a lot of folks find us because we make ourselves sticky. We're not going to have much time to get too deep into social media, but Hootsuite is a strategy for spending a couple of focused hours setting up some schedules, following all the neighborhood councils. So you can set up the columns for whatever you want. You can set up a column for your neighborhood, anyone that talks about your neighborhood council. You want to know what others are saying so that you can thank them, have a conversation with them, repeat them, congratulate them on your wisdom, right? But if someone in the neighborhood wins the rodeo, you know what I mean? If a kid wins the golf tournament, make some hay out of it. You can follow the local newspaper, which is much better than the LA Times, in the sense of where you're going to get relevant
information.
Yeah, information that's relevant. So if someone catches the biggest fish or wins the bowling, just congratulate them. Follow the local PD, the local fire department. So please scroll over.
What is the second one? Is scheduled stream posts?
Isn't that like a full-time job?
The same thing is for us to schedule. Yes, sir.
Wouldn't that be like a full-time job for somebody to actually do these things when we barely even know how to Twitter one, much less put all that stuff in there?
Yeah. But
he's telling you pay somebody.
You can, or you can. I mean, this is also a great way to engage the. What was your neighbor council? I'm sorry, I'm senile.
Renee, Trinidad.
Trinidad. What neighbor council? What was it?
Granada Hills South.
Okay, you're close enough to CSUN, right? There must be a way for you to go to the public policy. I mean, I know they have. We've dealt with a department there that was Denise Raw, Professor Denise Raw. Okay, go. She's a comedian that ran for city council and is now a professor of politics, political science at CSUN.
Same thing.
But you got Pierce too. You got Pierce, right?
No, that's way on the other side.
Is it?
Yeah, way over there.
Why do you act like the Valley's a big place? So I would use this as an opportunity to engage someone because it's a win-win. Everybody wants to do something meaningful. I assure you, people like to be valued. And this is an opportunity, if you were to set it up, for someone just to kind of, can you give us a couple hours a week? And by the way, what for you and me might be, woohoo, this is a lot of work, they do at the bus stop.
Right.
You know that, right? So could they spend 2 hours twice a week setting up a schedule? I think that's a great way to involve someone in the outreach committee. Someone who is proficient. Could you even include, would you host a little, this is great by the way, could they host a little class for your neighborhood council and make that an outreach opportunity for community members to come get their tweet on with your local tweet master? So it's a win-win, and then meanwhile, you're still running your campaign. Long and the short of it is, this is Hootsuite. There are other platforms of which we're going to, let's go to Nation Builder real quick. So Nation Builder is one. The difference between Hootsuite and Nation Builder is Hootsuite is a website. Nation Builder is a website. Nation Builder you can do emails from, and Nation Builder you can run your social media, and Nation Builder you can manage your database. So it's kind of under one platform, one umbrella.
Then you have everything like the tweet, everything
Yeah.
in there.
So you can. You're good?
Thank you so much, yeah.
Okay.
I'll look for the email.
So it's stephen.box@lcd.org, and you and I are working on Mission Hills together, right?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And if you want that, you're going to need to tell them we want someone to run a Nation Builder campaign. And if I took a car to a mechanic that was unfamiliar with that car, right, and that
Find somebody.
wanted to pay the rent, what would he do? Carlos, call your cousin. Get your cousin over here. Let's get. Does he know Volvos? So go ahead, Carlos.
Are you limited to the number of emails that you can send out?
Yes. So on Nation Builder, you're limited. Can you go to?
Is it free or is it cost?
No, it's free initially because we're paying for it. And then if you only used it to experiment, right, and do like meetings and social media. You don't have to do everything all the time everywhere, right? And you could start building up a roster. At a certain point, if you wanted to get crazy, you could import all of the voter registration data. This is used by political campaigns a lot. And so it's a great way. When you manage a lot of data, you can go to Norwalk and buy the disc for $35 of registered voters, but there's no way you can do anything with it. I mean, it's like, it's just unmanageable. And so typically, you want to be able to find the people on a given street. Can you do the turf mapping for us?
Oh, can you answer the question on the emails?
The dollar amount?
No, what are you limited to?
Oh.
For free?
We're looking it up.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. 200?
That's it?
I don't know. 500? I don't know.
Stephen, neighborhood councils were supposed to be provided or have this information made available from Nation Builder on the registered voters after our last council election.
Yeah.
Did that ever happen?
No, we haven't signed up that many. I mean, we're probably 50%. So do you have someone from your neighborhood? Someone from your neighborhood council will need two things. One, you're going to have to pay if it goes past a certain number. And number two, you need someone that's going to manage it, either someone on the board or someone that you hire.
Okay, well, this is not my area.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of reflecting
Yeah.
what I'm aware of. But my understanding was this is something that outreach on our council was looking for.
Right.
And had contacted Empower LA, but as
We
far
ever
as
said-
I know, it was not made available to the councils up to.
Did we ever make it sign up Lake Balboa? Nation Builder?
I can check.
That's okay, we'll come back to it. We'll check to see if you're signed up, and if you are, we
Okay.
just need someone to run it.
All right.
So either a volunteer or let's get someone a contractor. Yes, Carol?
Okay.
So undo this first.
Okay, well, couple of things. First, you said even just for the beginning, it's free initially. We could use it just bare bones for emails and what was the other thing?
Social media.
Just, it would manage the social media.
Yeah.
Oh, it would help. We could coordinate everything through Nation
Like Hootsuite, you know, you set up the columns. So who's talking about me, who's talking about civic engagement, and who's talking about the fire.
The trackers.
Right. In Nation Builder, you'd know if anybody of the people that you entered into your database, you'd know what they're doing. If they ever do anything that talks about you or tweets you. Nation Builder, 2,000 people in the database, 200 emailable people, $19, we'll pay for that. 5,000, if you've got 1,000 in your database,
yep.
I'm impressed. How many you got?
1,700.
Okay, so you're gonna pay some, 20 bucks,
okay.
30 bucks. Okay, and if you wanted to do the voters, it would cost money, right? The registered voters, you're gonna have to pay for that.
I know, I understood
Yeah.
that was something that Empower LA was doing and was going to make it available to all the neighborhood councils from the voter registration 2014.
We can facilitate it, but you'll have to pay if you choose. What happened is we bought all the data.
Right.
It was, how much was it a month?
1,400.
No, it was like 2,500. Anyway, I reckon we bought LA County. When the mayor was inaugurated or whatever when the mayor took office, we sent out 3 countywide messages, and it was very expensive, right? Because we had all the voter registration data. So neighborhood councils, it wasn't moving really fast, and we only had a few come in. But the idea was we would take that voter registration data and drop it to Van Nuys, and then you could send them a message. You don't keep spamming people. You give them an opportunity to opt in. So we sent 3 messages from the mayor, and the ones that responded, and with a simple question, like, what are your priorities? You know what I mean? I mean, just something really simple. And if they ping, you keep them, and then you drop the rest, because you're paying to hold them, okay? So there's 6,000 people on my phone. I don't know who they are. You can't get rid of them. The thing keeps resyncing and reloading. You know what I mean? It's like, what? I don't even know if it's my phone. Is that my phone? No. So in this case, you actually want to purge so that you're not emailing people that don't want to hear from you, aren't interested, aren't going to respond, or maybe isn't even a good email address. So we'll facilitate if you'd like to do it, but you need an operator on your end. And what happened is not a lot of folks signed up. So if Mission Hills wants to sign up, we got you, right? So if you want to sign up, we'll sign you up for Nation Builder. And then there's some videos you can watch so you can do it in the comfort of your own home, and your own live, work, owner, participate. Yes. So you can move at your own speed. There's a weekly training session that's online that's live. You know, there's things with Nation, but they're downtown, they're at the Billboard, right? It's a local company. Yes, sir?
They are in the Pershing Square building.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's where I work.
Yeah.
Oh, you're there?
I'm in the same building, but not there.
It's really nice.
I opened an account with them when you guys broadcasted it, but I never used them. Right? I'm the chair of our zoning and land use.
Yeah.
How can I use this?
Okay, so let's do something cool. Ready? So that was kind of that's kind of the price list of Carlos. I don't know where you fall on there.
Yeah.
And so we ended up, sort of reducing it down. So we're still paying, and we'll pay for the neighborhood council accounts. But the other thing is we can take the voter registration data from your actual elections, and you can load that. You know they walk in the door on that one, right? So they've already walked in. And if you don't have that, we can get that. When I say we,
Me knows it.
Yeah.
we know that. Hardest working man in the Power LA, right there. So this is a map of Mission Hills, right? And the local Piggly Wiggly wants to build a grocery store right here. So do I want everyone, all 96 neighborhood councils in your Twitter feed? No! I want the people from here to here to here to here. This is called turf cutting. So you draw a map, and it'll tell you, it'll give you the contacts for the people that live there. Right? So your neighborhood council has 1,000 emails, right? 1,000 stakeholders, just for the sake of argument. You know all 1,000 don't want to hear about it. Because your neighborhood council is pretty big. geographically speaking, there's 96 neighborhood councils in the city of LA, and they average about 40,000 people, which means that the average neighborhood council is bigger than the majority of the cities in LA County, the largest county in the United States of America. So sometimes I think you forget, just because only 7 people showed up for the meeting being held in the back seat of a Hugo, because it's so small. Sometimes we forget the scope of what we're dealing with, but you really want to target the people that are affected by your land use issue. So sometimes we spend a lot of energy looking for big numbers on outreach. Talk to the ones that want to hear it. So you guys did a vision right down the street, the boulevard, right?
The boulevard.
Yeah, just go 2 blocks over and go straight down and say, these are our people. And then really target them. You can do walking sheets. So when campaigns use data, right? Are you walking? Are you walking? Don't walk the entire neighborhood council. Just get 4 volunteers, right? That'll walk those 4 streets and knock on doors or drop off leaflets or do door hangers. So in political campaigns, that's what they do, is they manage this data by printing out who's there, so you know how many people are in each home, that's the data. Yes, sir.
In that outreach situation with the planning, what kind of information would you get from Nation Building? Emails, addresses, phone numbers?
Whatever exists. Keeping in mind that if someone registered pre-email and never updated their voter registration data,
that would be
right?
It could be wrong.
Yeah, and then some registered with their old account, right? And then since then they've changed accounts, and then some are great, like younger, more recent voter registration folks would be valid.
But how often do they update that information?
It's voter registration data.
Voter registration.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's being bought. Keep in mind that you can load your data, which means anyone that signed in today is getting loaded, and you told me who you are, right? And it's right now searching your Facebook, your Twitter. It is. It is. And within 24 hours, it'll have all of your whatever public information is public. But one thing to keep in mind, well, it's public. Just want you to know,
right?
You're public. It's a small town, okay? The other thing is this is a phone number, right? And if you want to do a phone campaign, I'm coming to you.
It's okay.
If you want to do a phone campaign like Porter Ranch during the election, the polls are open. 1, 2, 3. Get ready, they're closing. Thanks for voting. Come and stick around for the results. They did phone blasts during the election. So if you've got something hot going on, and keep in mind it might be a crisis, right? You're going to call everybody in your 40,000 average. So maybe you're going to actually do a phone campaign on this because it's hot. And by the way, you don't have to call that many people. You have to call the right people. So I would want to know who lives right around here. Because keep in mind the developer does. Guaranteed. Same data. It's available. It's public. But they don't have your data. So this could be voter registration. It could be those folks that came and voted at your election. It could be the folks that you loaded because you had the data. And it could be the folks that have been coming to your events and signing in. So yours is starting to swell. But you've been tagging it. So I can get all the boot camp folks, I can get all the planning and land use folks, I can get all of the right? And so you can start tagging. Every time you import data, you can tag it. Okay? You're frowning at me. What's that?
After run, I'm stopping.
Okay. So I'm gonna see you. So Saul has Nation Builder. Yeah. So crack the whip, and good luck with your good luck with it. Good luck with the town.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see
Now
you.
we know why he likes to give.
So this is called turf counting. You asked how you could use it for land use, but you see how you can start using your local map to reach out and start managing your data. So data is not always a spreadsheet. Sometimes it's a map. And you can do phone campaigns from Nation Builder. So if you think about the services you have, you pay for your website. How come you're frowning at me?
I'm not frowning. I'm just thinking.
I know it's
No, it's all right.
Winded. You pay for the website, you pay for your email, you pay for a phone campaign if you're using a phone campaign strategy, whatever you would use. So you end up